We're here at the Tormek. It's very interesting, but the cleaver is too long for the knife angle jig. This is the most accurate way to set an angle on the Tormek for a standard paring knife, chef's knife, anything in a normal range. This cleaver, the dimension from here to here is just too big for that jig to work. Now, this is the old school Tormek angle setting jig called the Angle Master. I've given it my best shot, and I'm trying to set. Again, this is old school, and you're doing some basically really rudimentary trigonometry using an analog device. And you're doing it at 6.7 degrees. So I would have to say this is about as much sharpening fun as you can possibly have in one go. Now, that is 17 degrees according to this plastic thing and this stone. Now, I have marked old school, a bit of black marking pen just to do a sanity check to see where we're at. Now, it's just catching the edge and a little bit more. And because I don't have a really good baseline on this cleaver, I've been sharpening it by hand. I have no idea what the factory edge was. I could try measuring this edge, but honestly, I can't think of anything really more pointless to do. I think I'm just going to sharpen it and see how it goes. I could try marking this angle or this edge up to do another sanity check, which is never a bad idea. If I can find the right chisel tip. See how much narrower that edge is compared to the edge on the flip side of this cleaver. It's like it was done on two separate machines or with two separate settings. I don't know how they did it. Now that is a very close match to that angle. Very interesting. If you can see here, there's virtually no Sharpie left on that. And that was the same angle used here. So there's definitely stuff going on with this, but I'm going to run a light pass. And I've been using this stone to sharpen scissors. This is the standard Tormek SG250 stone. And again, I own several different stones for this machine, and I'm still using the beginner stone. I'm completely happy with it. And if I run the coarse side of this tool over this, that roughens the edge. The finer side refines the grit on this stone. Now, the theory is that this corresponds to 80 grit and will convert this aluminum oxide stone to approximately 80 grit. It will feel and sound rough. If I flip it, that brings it closer to 1,000, if you can believe that. But you will notice a change in sound. So I'm going to go over this with a coarse stone very quickly. And what I'm going to do is start at the heel. On a knife with a point, I start at the point, but here we go. This cleaver is very awkward. I'm sorry about the camera angles. But that's our first line. We're doing quite well through here. And then here it falls to pieces. And then back at the heel it falls to pieces. So I'm going to have to say another 2 to 3 light passes. And I'll try and do it so that in a way that you can see it. But again, the camera is right there. Yeah, if it wasn't for this, the dimensions of this thing, it would be child's play to sharpen it. Let's give it another light pass on this side, and I'll see what I can do so that you can see it a little bit better. We are getting there, except for this area here. So I'm going to do one pass. That is not looking too good, and that looks like it's overground. But let's do one more pass, and we'll do a light pass and see how we end up. Okay. Looks like it could be ground a bit more there, but I'm just going to try feeling for a burr. Burr there, burr there, burr there, but no burr here. So I'm going to grind lightly again, but with a little more emphasis on that corner. It's better. It's not perfect, but it's much better. I'm going to flip to the other side, and we're just starting to get a burr there. So what I'm going to do is flip to the other side, do one more or three more passes or whatever it takes on this side, and then we'll smooth the stone over and try again. So again, I'm flipping this, and I'm hoping that you could see it. Okay. Now this was the side where the angle was substantially different, and it seems to be much easier to grind. But that's looking pretty good. I've got a burr, just a little more. Oh no, I've got a burr there. Okay. So we've got a rough edge, and it's actually not looking too bad. So I'm going to quickly smooth the stone. Now that, in theory, takes it down to 1,000 grit. And we'll just keep telling ourselves that. It feels and sounds much smoother. I've got burr, and I've got burr. Wow. Okay, very happy with that. Now, I'm left-handed, but in this particular instance, I'm not really using any dominant hand. Just makes you want to chop something, doesn't it? Ooh. I've got what feels like an incredibly sharp edge. I mean it, incredibly sharp. Now I could do one more light pass on that side, and let's try not to cut ourselves while we're doing this. And this edge Looks really quite nice. There might be some light damage there, and it looks like it could use a little bit more. I'm going to do one pass on each side just for thoroughness, although I'd be quite happy to cook with this knife. Okay, we did something there, which I assume is good. I'll flip it, give it one more light pass. It's not absolutely perfect, but you know what? I think it's going to work for our purposes. I want to chop veg with this. And again, very carefully, that is sharp. Now, the next step, as you know, is removing the burr. So give me a minute and I will get the Tormek leather wheel set up, and I'll flip this to this side, and I will try and do it as precisely as I can. So just give me 1 minute for setup.